Hey Booktube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. I just want to begin this video by sending my thoughts and prayers to all those who have been impacted by the hurricane. I did check in with my one friend that lives in Florida today and made sure he and his family are okay. They know another family they're trying to help who had 7 feet of water in their home. I can't fathom that. I'm going to be making a donation to a disaster relief organization, and I would encourage you to do the same if you feel compelled. So, this is the last Friday of the month, and a new thing that I have been trying to do, and haven't been quite as consistent with it as I would like, but we're moving forward, and we're just gonna hope that we can keep doing this. So at the end of every month, I like to recognize and thank all of the people who are new to my channel that have publicly subscribed to my channel. That's the only way I can see who is a subscriber and who isn't. So anyway, there were quite a few this month, and I am thrilled, and there's also quite a few people with channels. So I will definitely link all of the channels down below and encourage all of you to check them out. So for starters, the people without channels, it was a little hard for me to tell sometimes whether you had a channel or not. So if I got it wrong and you do want people to know about your channel, please let me know in the comment section, and I will link your channel down below. But there was just a few things that were a little bit confusing. So, okay, I would like to welcome Eslyn Ringer, Vegas Hermit, the Great Pretender, Rachel, Andrew, Anna, Amber, Marilyn, Jacob. Oh boy. Okay, I think this is a Vietnamese name. Tran Dutan. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if I screwed that up. And the next one, oh, Hai Jen. So I apologize. I'm so sorry. I've completely butchered your name. Cooper, Donna, and SD. So welcome. Nicole at A Day of Small Things. Felicity at My House is a Library. Michelle's Melancholia. And Michelle, I believe, was born in Mexico, and I think she now lives in the UK. So anyway, her channel's got this like moody vibe with candles and stuff in the back. It's cool. John at Hey Y'all, Listen Up. Ella Gory's Horror Stories, just rolls right off the tongue. Naturally, you can tell she is really interested in horror, and she also made a lot of videos for Garb August too. So Monika, who I believe is as a librarian, and her channel is Dog-Eared Musings. So welcome, Monika. And then The Rituals of Reading. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm just so in love with this channel. So she lives in Paris. She went on a trip to Italy. I think she can read things in at least Spanish. I mean, like obviously she can read things in English, but I know she can read things in Spanish. I'm assuming she can read things in French. I don't know about Italian, but I'm just like so excited to get to know her a little bit better. And then there was one, again, I just was really confused whether it was a channel or not, so I'm just gonna link to it down below, and that is Subprocess. So anyway, welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I would love to hear from you in the comment section. Please say hello, introduce yourself. This is a safe space, feel comfortable. All right, so last week I told you guys that I had a bunch of housework to do over the weekend, And I allotted this little space of time where I was going to do that. And then I lost that space of time to circumstances beyond my control. So instead, I sat in the basement, not in this chair. I don't know why. I sat on the rocking chair and finished reading The Art of Baking Blind by Sarah Vaughan. And yes, my butt was sore by the time I finished reading this. But anyway, so this is a book about a contest to find a new sort of baking ambassador for a chain of grocery stores. And we move back and forth in time between the original person, her name was Kathleen Eden, and 5 people who are trying to be the next Mrs. Eden without getting married, if that makes any sense. The next person to really champion baking. I didn't learn until I was partway through this book that Sarah Vaughan wrote this book inspired by the Great British Bake Off or the Great British Baking Show, depending on what country you live in. I think it's got a couple different names, but anyway, so you can definitely tell that she was inspired by that particular show. And I will say though, like if you haven't watched that show or you're not familiar, you haven't watched any British baking shows, there's a lot of treats in the UK that the rest of us are completely unfamiliar with. I only know what a Victoria sponge is from watching the Great British Bake Off. So, and there are no recipes in this book whatsoever. And anyway, so we move back and forth in time between the original person who goes on to write a book called The Art of Baking, and these other characters who are competing and their lives, primarily their relationships with their partners and their relationships with their children. So, it's fun. It's very light, and there's some serious moments, but I kind of wish that I had read this in 2020 because that's the kind of book that it is. I enjoyed this book. I'm glad I read it, and I would love to send it to one of you. So you do have to provide me with a mailing address, but if you'd like to own this book, The Art of Baking Blind, then please let me know down in the comments section, and I will randomly select someone. I am more than happy to ship things internationally. It just takes a little bit longer, but yeah, just let me know if you would like to own this book. Otherwise, I will be donating it to my library, and yeah. But I think a lot of you would get a kick out of it. So, all right. Now, what will I be getting into next? Of course, we're about to start Victober. So here I am going to be reading Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I was sure that I had read this in college, but it's not in my book journal. So I have no idea, but I do. This is one of the very few Dickens novels that I know the story. So yeah, I am familiar with what's going to happen in this book. Most of the time when I read Dickens, I'm reading it blind. But this, and sadly A Tale of Two Cities, I did know what was going to happen there. Don't spoil that book for people. It's a great book, but yeah, unfortunately it was spoiled for me. So anyway, but yeah, so I'm excited to read this with Jordan Parsons, and so I'll be diving into this weekend. And then I have a very, very strange haul to show you. Okay. So, sadly, it's the end of September, and it's the end of Shakespeare, which fell apart this year, and I really hope that that won't be the case next year. But Nicole, at A Day of Small Things that I mentioned earlier, she made a couple fantastic Shakespeare videos. You really should check them out. I started watching her video about Coriolanus on Thursday, and finally I stopped because I wanted to wait until I'd read the play, but I was just like, okay, like, you've persuaded me. I want to read this play now. I mean, I want to read all of Shakespeare's plays, but I was much more excited about it halfway through her video about it. She talked about this book by Jonathan Bate, Mad About Shakespeare, From Classroom to Theater to Emergency Room. And let me see if I can find a good description. Shakespeare's world is never too different from our own, permeated with the same moments of tragedy or comedy, the same existential questions and ways of encountering each other. As he says, the web of our life is of a mingled yarn, good and ill together. So whether dealing with the death of a loved one, the mess of war, the experience of being schooled, or falling in love, of growing old, of losing your mind, if you are patient enough, Shakespeare will give you the words. So both Jason and I saw this on Nicole's channel, and Jason was just like, why haven't I heard about this book? And it's one of the few occasions that both of us instantly go to Goodreads and mark something to read. And I was actually worried that we were going to buy each other this book for Christmas. But then we were watching a documentary that we've seen multiple times about Shakespeare. And all of a sudden I look over and Jason is just crying. And then the next night we were watching the very end of it, and suddenly I found myself crying. So I suppose I should have known that it was going to be a matter of time before this showed up in my house. But I came home from work one day, and this, along with another book by Jonathan Bate about Shakespeare, The Soul of the Age, a biography of the mind of William Shakespeare. And so Jason just looked at me and he was like, it was after the crying. so I don't know, Shakespeare probably has taken over Sylvia Plath by now on our bookshelves. I don't know where we're gonna put these books because there's no room in that bookcase, but anyway, so two more Shakespeare books for me to look forward to reading in the future, and I definitely will. There will be more Shakespeare on my channel in 2023, I guarantee it. The next book I want to show you it was actually sent to Jason. You might wonder why I'm hauling it on my channel. And not to say that Jason can't haul it on his channel as well, but I am willing to bet that I'm going to read this book before Jason does. And this is called The Master, The Long Run and Beautiful Game of Roger Federer by Christopher Clarey. If you didn't know, Jason and I are big tennis fans, and Roger Federer is our favorite tennis player, and he just recently retired from tennis. He played at the Laver Cup with people he's played many epic matches against, and Jason and I over the years, Jason's been to Wimbledon, and then he and I together went to the Rogers Cup, which is a tournament that's held alternately in Montreal and Toronto, and we went to see it in Montreal, and we were really hoping that Roger was going to be there, and he was not, but we did get to see just phenomenal tennis. It was incredible. It was such an incredible experience. I still hope that somehow, some way, I'm going to get to see Roger Federer play tennis, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to happen exactly. But yeah, so he retired, and you know, I think for me, the reason why I think he's such an incredible player is not just how he plays, but also his demeanor and behavior off the court. He is very sportsmanlike. You know, these people he has this huge rivalry with, like, like hug each other and hold hands, and they're not like there's no like toxic masculinity or anything like that when it comes to Roger Federer. So yeah, just a tremendous athlete, and so I look forward to reading this. Thank you to the person who sent it to Jason. I will enjoy it as well. And then finally, the last two things I have to show you, one of which isn't a book, but I still have to share it. So Jason was going to give this to me for Christmas. I think he just couldn't handle it any longer, and then I had a bad day, and so he surprised me by giving me the Miriam Margolyes's biography, This Much Is True. If you don't know who Miriam Margolyes is, she played Professor Sprout in the Harry Potter films, but she's been in a lot of other things that Jason and I have seen over the years. She's in Baz Luhrmann's adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. She plays the nun. She's been, done stuff on stage, all kinds of things. And she's very naughty. like she has to be very careful when she's on morning television shows, not to say something that has to be like bleeped out. Anyway, but I just get a huge kick out of her. I think she's so funny, and I'm so excited to read more about her life. There's also some really fantastic color pictures in here, inserts, and so yeah, I haven't looked through all of them, but see, like, there's her in Harry Potter, and above is she's on break for Romeo and Juliet. This book just came out this year, and frankly, if it had come out earlier, especially when I had that $50 eBay gift certificate, I might have bought it then, but Jason got it for me, and I'm just so excited because I just get a huge kick out of her. It's very rare for us to buy a book the same year that it is published. So I still have those Jenny Lawson books that I want to read, that I bought at the beginning of the year. So I don't know. I'd like to get to this year, but you guys, I have so many reading plans. So anyway, but I'm just thrilled. And then he also got me a notebook to go with it. Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was thinking about Miriam Margolyes. And you can go on YouTube and look for Miriam Margolyes, especially on the Graham Norton show, because she can be much naughtier on evening television than she can in the day. Anyway, her stories are hilarious, and I'm just really excited to get to know more about her, and I feel certain that this book is going to make me laugh out loud. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'd love to hear about what you're reading this weekend, what your plans are. If you're hunkered down somewhere, we are definitely supposed to get rain, and in fact, I think I hear it raining right now. So yeah, I'd love to hear what's going on in your world. And again, if you're new to my channel, feel free to just say hi in the comment section. If you don't feel comfortable with that, you can leave an emoji, or you can give this video a thumbs up. Booktube, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others. And I'll be back with another bookish video soon.